Have you ever spent an entire day fishing for carp and not even seen a single fish? You're not alone. Most beginners cast their bait into the same spot every single time, hoping for the best, and wonder why nothing happens. But here's the truth. Carp are not evenly spread across a lake. They live in specific zones, and once you learn how to spot those zones, you'll start finding carp in almost any water you fish. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to read a lake like an experienced angler, where carp hide in summer and winter, the signs that tell you carp are nearby, and how to walk a lake before you even put your rod down. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll never blindly cast again. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about reading a lake. When you arrive at a new venue, resist the urge to just plonk your gear down at the first swim you see. Instead, take a slow walk around the entire lake if you can. Look at the water itself. Is it calm and glassy or choppy and wavy? Carp often avoid windy, choppy water near the surface because it's uncomfortable for them. But that wind can also push warm surface water and food items into certain corners, which actually attracts carp underneath. So a windy bank isn't always bad. It depends on the season, which we'll get to in a moment. Look at the depth changes too. Most lakes have shallow margins, a slope or shelf a few meters out, and then deeper water in the middle. Carp use these depth changes like a highway system, moving between shallow feeding areas and deep, safe resting areas, depending on the time of day and the weather. If you can find a spot where shallow water meets a drop-off close to cover, you've found a prime carp highway junction. Now let's talk about summer. In warm weather, carp are most active near the surface and in shallower water, especially early morning and late evening when the temperature is comfortable but not too hot. During the hottest part of the day, carp often retreat to shaded areas, under overhanging trees, near reed beds, or close to lily pads where the canopy blocks direct sunlight. Lily pads are honestly one of the best summer carp spots you can find. They provide shade, they host insects and snails that carp love to eat, and the pads themselves create a safe ceiling that carp feel comfortable sitting under. If you find a lake with lily pad clusters, especially ones near deeper water, treat that area like gold. Carp in summer also love to patrol margins. That's the area right at the edge of the bank, sometimes just a meter or two from where you're standing. It might feel too obvious, but margins are packed with natural food: snails, bloodworm, and decaying vegetation. Many beginners cast way out into the middle of the lake, completely ignoring the margin right beneath their feet, where carp are quietly feeding just a rod's length away. Now let's flip to winter. As the water cools down, carp become much less active. Their metabolism slows right down, so they don't need to feed as much, and when they do, it's usually a short, slow window during the warmest part of the day. In winter, carp tend to move to deeper water, where the temperature is more stable, because deep water doesn't cool down and warm up as quickly as the shallows. South-facing margins can still hold winter carp on bright, sunny days, because that's where the sun's warmth hits the water first and longest. So in winter, your two best bets are deep holes in the middle or south-facing margins on a sunny afternoon. Another huge factor in winter is silt and structure. Carp will often sit in soft, silty areas at the bottom of deeper water, almost hibernating, barely moving for hours. If you can find these silty winter holding areas, often near the deepest point of the lake, and present a bait gently on top of that silt, you have a real chance even on the coldest days. Now let's talk about the signs that tell you carp are actually present in an area, because this is where most beginners miss out. The most obvious sign is bubbling. When carp feed on the bottom, they disturb the silt and release trapped gas, which rises to the surface as a steady stream of small bubbles, often in a cluster or a line. This is one of the strongest signs you can get. It basically means carp feeding here, right now. If you see consistent bubbling in one spot, that's where your bait should go. Next, look for jumps and rolls. Carp will sometimes leap clear out of the water or roll at the surface, showing their back and tail. This can mean a few things. Sometimes it's carp clearing parasites off their skin, sometimes it's a sign of fish moving through an area, and sometimes it's just carp being playful. Either way, a jumping carp tells you fish are present in that part of the lake, and it's worth fishing nearby, especially if you see repeated activity in the same zone over 10 or 15 minutes. Then there are ripples and disturbances near features. If you notice unusual ripples near a snag, that's a fallen tree, a submerged branch, or any underwater structure, that could be carp using the snag as cover. Carp absolutely love snags because they offer protection from predators, shade, and often hold natural food like insects and algae. Fishing near snags can be tricky because carp can take your line into the structure, but a swim that's close to a snag without being directly in it can be incredibly productive. Let's also talk about overhanging trees and bushes. These drop natural food into the water, caterpillars, berries, insects, and carp learn to associate these areas with an easy meal. If you see a tree hanging over the water with disturbed water beneath it, or even just leaves and debris floating in a concentrated area, that's often a clue that fish are feeding underneath. Now, I want to bring all of this together with a simple pre-fishing routine you should do every single time you arrive at a lake, especially a new one. Spend the first 30 to 60 minutes just walking the entire perimeter if possible. Don't set up your rods yet. Carry a pair of polarized sunglasses if you have them. These cut down glare on the water and let you actually see into the margins, spotting carp, weed beds, and bottom features you'd otherwise miss completely. As you walk, make a mental note, or even better, take photos on your phone, of every lily pad bed, every snag, every overhanging tree, and every area where the bank shape creates a point or a bay. Points and bays are important because they create natural funnels where carp travel along the bank. A point that juts out into the lake with deeper water on either side is often a travel route between two areas of the lake. While you're walking, watch the water for at least a few minutes in each likely-looking spot. Look for those bubbles, rolls, and jumps we talked about. Even if you don't see obvious carp activity, look at the substrate near the margins. Is it silty, gravelly, or weedy? Carp tend to prefer areas with some natural cover and soft bottoms where food collects, rather than completely bare, hard gravel with nothing around. Once you've done your lap, think about combining everything you've seen with the season and the weather. In summer, prioritize shaded margins, lily pad edges, and areas where you spotted surface activity. In winter, prioritize deeper water, south-facing banks on sunny days, and silty areas near the deepest parts of the lake. And at any time of year, areas combining two or more features, for example, a lily pad bed right next to a drop-off, or a snag in a sunny south-facing bay, are usually your number one choice. One last tip before we wrap up. Don't be afraid to move. If you've picked a spot based on everything we've covered, but after an hour or two you've seen no signs of activity at all, no bubbles, no rolls, nothing, it might be worth quietly moving to your next best spot rather than sitting it out all day. Carp location is dynamic. Fish move around a lake throughout the day, especially in summer, so the spot that's quiet at midday might come alive in the evening and vice versa. So to recap, read the lake by looking at depth changes, wind direction, and natural features. In summer, focus on shaded margins, lily pads, and the margins right under your feet. In winter, focus on deeper water and sunny south-facing banks. Watch for bubbles, jumps, rolls, and disturbed water near snags and overhanging trees as your clearest signs that carp are present. And always, always walk the lake before you fish it. That 30 minutes of observation can save you hours of blank fishing. If this helped you understand carp location a little better, give this video a like and subscribe to Carp Made Easy for more beginner-friendly carp fishing tips. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into rig setups for these exact spots we talked about today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.